Welcome back to What the Flick, and happy birthday to some people today that we're going to talk about, or this week, I should say. I'm Matt, that's Christy, that's Alonso. There are some people celebrating birthdays, and we thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about some of our favorite movies from them. We've each picked one, either actor or actress or director who have a birthday this week, and picked one of our favorite films that may be a little bit off the radar that we want to recommend. And maybe, let's see, Christy, ladies first. You want to give us your choice?
So it's Jenna Fischer's birthday today.
Woo!
Woohoo, Jenna Fischer. And she is amazing in a movie that I love very, very dearly, which we quote around the house pretty much on a daily basis. It's Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Totally underappreciated when it came out. It was this brilliant, like tonally spot on parody of music biopics like Walk the Line specifically, or Ray. And John C. Reilly is this musician who comes from humble beginnings and has a rise and a fall and a rise and a fall.
And has a disability.
Yes, yes, which we won't give away if you haven't seen it. But
it's pretty hilarious.
But Jenna Fischer is sort of like the June Carter Cash figure in his life. And it was a really exciting thing to see from her, because if you see her on The Office or in most movies like last year's Brad Status or like 1517 to Paris this year, she gets pigeonholed as this kind of like nerdy, kind of sweet, cautious, like, safe woman. And in Walk Hard, she's supposed to be very, very wholesome and kind of pristine, but there's like this naughty kind of sexual tiger within her. And she goes along with Dewey on all the various incarnations he takes on during his life, his Beatles phase, his Dylan phase, and she is hilarious in every single one of those moments. And it was exciting to see that side of her comedy as well.
She really gets out there in this film. Like she really goes for it. And it's kind of nice to see, because she's so, like you said, it's like she plays these characters, you know, Pam is pretty mousy in The Office, right? And which, you then see something like what she does in Dewey Cox, and then it kind of clicks like, all right, okay, I get why she was married to James Gunn.
Yeah, this is Pam's secret life, which is adorable. And
come on, you can't be mousy and married to James Gunn.
I just that was your go-to. I was kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, all right.
So goes, if you've not seen it, so our great friend Matt Singer did a whole thing last year when it was the 10-year anniversary of Walk Hard, and like appreciating the underappreciated greatness of Walk Hard. The songs are brilliant.
I guess I gotta see it again.
Yeah,
because I saw it when it came out. I was like, this is okay. It felt like one of those. Oh, this is one of those Judd Apatow movies that's 25 minutes too long, you know.
Oh no, there are extras. We watch the extras at home. Yeah.
I will say now, when I watch other music biopics and they do certain things, you're like, oh, come on.
Yep.
After Walk Hard, you can't do that thing
anymore.
Right. They're still doing it.
All right, so Alonso, give us your choice, and I'm a little irritated because you picked the actress that I was ready to pick.
Well, I'm sorry. I snagged Rachel Weisz.
It's really not okay. Just to be clear, it's really not okay that Alonso Duralde has snagged Rachel Weisz for me. I'm just saying, it's just not okay.
Gay men have divas.
I know.
So
I'm
just deal with it, straight man.
I'm just calling it out there.
All right, so I wanted to give a shout out to The Deep Blue Sea, not Deep Blue Sea. The ice, no ices are in this movie. The Deep Blue Sea, starring Rachel Weisz as an unhappy married woman in 1950s England, because everybody is unhappy in 1950s England, if the movies are to be believed. She is married to an older man who's very stable. He's a judge, and you know, she's very sort of societally comfortable, but she has a torrid affair with a World War II flyboy who finds that there is just not a lot of heroism or excitement now that the war is over. He is played by Tom Hiddleston. And if you've only seen Tom Hiddleston as Loki, you will find this to be a real eye-opener. But really, this movie is about Rachel Weisz, and she is extraordinary, playing an unhappy woman who finds fulfillment with a guy who was all wrong for her and is not going to turn out well at all. It's directed by Terence Davies, who is a terrific British filmmaker and really good, I think, at crafting films around interesting female characters. He directed Cynthia Nixon last year in the Emily Dickinson movie that I always forget the name of, A Quiet Passion.
Yes.
He directed Gillian Anderson in House of Mirth. He is, just one of the, great British directors of this generation. And I think one of his best films is The Deep Blue Sea. And Rachel Weisz gives a really powerful performance. I think shows the range of what she can do as an actress. She got some Critics Awards that year, but did not get an Oscar nomination because, that's how the Oscars work. And nonetheless, you should check it out. It's a dynamite movie, The Deep Blue Sea.
The Deep Blue Sea. I would watch Rachel Weisz take on sharks, though.
Hell yeah.
I mean, come on.
In a heartbeat.
Right? All right, my movie, I'm picking also on the same birthday, Matthew Vaughn. It's his birthday as well. And I'm picking one of his directorial debut, Layer Cake. He had been producing for Guy Ritchie on both Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He directed his own movie with Layer Cake. It's got a certain feel that Ritchie's movies have, but it's not quite as frenetic. I actually think it's sharper, and it's not necessarily as funny. It's he takes some of the best things that Ritchie does and leaves some of the worst things Ritchie does and kind of makes his own movie. I like this movie a lot. It's an adaptation of a book by J.J. Connolly, stars Daniel Craig in the role that arguably probably is most responsible for him becoming James Bond. This is a terrific film. It's this great kind of heist crime film. You've got a really good supporting cast here, including Cole Meany as, as a longtime Trek fan, seeing Chief O'Brien get these later roles where he's kind of this heavy in the British underworld is fun to see. Sienna Miller's in this, who has arguably never looked sexier. This is a fast-paced movie. Amongst the things that are kind of interesting, you never really get the name of Craig's character, which they end up referencing by the end of the movie. I like this one a lot. It moves along. It's not as over the top as some of Ritchie's movies. I think it threads the needle between being tense and yet lighthearted. Also a very young, or not necessarily young, but it's an early Tom Hardy role, who's also very good in this. And it's a lighter performance from Hardy than I think we see in his later career. I like this one a lot.
I love this movie too. It's a lot of fun. As you say, it's very stylish without being totally self-consciously over the top like Guy Ritchie movies tend to be. And Sienna Miller's very good in it. And it's cool to look back at it, as you say, and see like the seeds being planted for Daniel Craig to be Bond. You can see it there.
Yeah, and I liked, I was excited when Matthew Vaughn took over X-Men movies, and I thought he did a good job with X-Men First Class, but I'm not wild about what he's been doing with Kick-Ass, and I kind of would love to see him go back to something. I think this tone that he does here is some of his best work.
It's smaller than the Kick-Ass movies.
It's smaller. It's, I find the Kick-Ass movies to be crazy, like almost mean-spirited, similar to Kingsman, right? Kingsman kind of does that same thing.
They're dark.
Right, and Is
he also the Kingsman guy?
He directed Kingsman.
Yeah, okay.
At least the first one. But this one is my favorite of his. Although, Stardust is also a good movie. It's one of his other movies. But I think, again, Layer Cake, I know some people probably saw it, but if you never caught this one, this is a really good one. It's, at this point, 14 years old and worth going back and checking out. And again, it's fun going back and seeing, like, Daniel Craig looked 14 years younger. And
he never ages.
Tom Hardy.
Also never ages.
Yeah, I like this one a lot, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So those are our recommendations for birthday folks. We'll, another time when it's a slow news day, we'll pick some of the birthdays and do those again. When it's my birthday, I'll have to have a movie ready for myself.
Yes. What were you good in?
What is your favorite film of yours?
My favorite film of mine, probably the terrible earthquake movies I made after the earthquake in San Francisco. I had a video camera, and we were like shaking the camera around, pretending that there were aftershocks.
Too soon, man.
Oh,
I know.
God, that's not bad taste at all.
I was in college. I was stupid. Right. That's
as
probably
opposed to never mind.
Yeah, that's right. Well, how about you? What's your favorite movie that you've done?
Oh, probably somebody else's documentary, like I Am Divine. I'll say that one.